Driving down the dusty road in his old car, Michael felt an odd sense of unease as he returned to Green Hollow, the small town where he had spent his childhood. He had left this town years ago and never thought he would come back. However, the sudden death of his mother had brought him back. When he stopped under the town's lone street lamp, memories flooded his mind, bringing with them some unpleasant recollections. As Michael walked toward his mother's old farmhouse, he noticed how eerily quiet the town was. It was as if the entire town had died in an instant. When he opened the door of the house, the old, musty smell hit him. Inside, everything seemed untouched since his mother's death. As Michael wandered through the house, memories from his childhood resurfaced. Old toys, the dining table where he had shared meals with his family, everything was in its place. However, he noticed that some things had been moved. His mother was usually a tidy person, and it seemed odd that things were left in such disarray. He decided to visit the town's grocery store. Walking through the town square, he saw old friends and neighbors, but everyone gave him strange looks, as if they didn't want him there. Even the store clerk avoided making eye contact while speaking to him. Shrugging off the unease, Michael did his shopping and returned home. That night, Michael decided to go through his mother's study, looking at old documents and photographs. Some of the notes left by his mother caught his attention. They mentioned strange occurrences in the town's history, people disappearing at midnight and some houses believed to be cursed. One night, Michael was awakened by strange noises outside the house. It sounded like someone was walking around. He approached the window and saw a shadow moving in the dark. His heart raced. When he went outside, there was no one there. The next day, Michael decided to visit his childhood friend Sarah. She knew everything about the town's history and mysteries. When they met, Sarah told him about the dark events of the town's past. According to an old legend, the town was cursed, and every generation, one person had to bear this curse. Sarah believed Michael's mother was one of the curse's victims. The notes she left mentioned dark rituals and a secret cult in the town. Michael realized his mother had been investigating this cult and had probably died because of it. At midnight, Michael decided to visit the old church mentioned in his mother's notes. The church was one of the oldest buildings in town and had been abandoned for years. When he arrived, the inside was cold and dark. Overcoming his fear, he entered. Inside, he found a room filled with old books, candles, and strange symbols. This must have been the ritual room his mother had written about. As Michael explored the room, he found an old journal detailing the town's secret cult and the horrific rituals they performed. Michael realized the cult was still active and responsible for the town's curse. Late at night, while walking through the town's dark streets, he felt someone following him. He hurried home and locked the door behind him. While studying his mother's journal and notes, Michael began researching the horrific events experienced by the town's old residents. He dug into the town's archives, gathering lists of missing people and details about their lives. They all had one thing in common. They were born and raised on the cursed land of the town. During his research, Michael had to leave town to visit a retired police officer living in a nearby town. The officer had worked on a series of disappearance cases years ago and still had some files. When Michael arrived at the retired officer's house, they had a long conversation. The officer explained the town's dark past and the origins of the curse. The curse stemmed from a pact made by the town's founders with a dark force, a pact that had eventually turned into a curse. Armed with this knowledge, Michael returned to the town determined to break the curse. With the clues left by his mother and the information from the retired officer, he was ready to confront the town's dark forces. Michael decided to inform the townspeople in the town square. To lift the curse, everyone needed to work together. However, most of the town didn't believe him and accused him of madness. Despite this, Sarah and a few brave townspeople stood by him. At midnight, they decided to perform a ritual at the old cursed church, the oldest and most haunted place in the town. Michael and Sarah led the charge against the town's dark forces. In the middle of the ritual, dark entities attacked them to stop their efforts. Using the old spells and talismans mentioned in his mother's notes, Michael fought the dark entities. with Sarah supporting him and the remaining townspeople praying for the ritual's success. The battle was fierce and terrifying, but eventually, Michael and Sarah managed to defeat the dark forces. With the completion of the ritual, the curse lifted from the town. The people of Green Hollow were finally free from the fear that had haunted them for years. However, Michael paid a heavy price for this victory. Leaving behind the pain of his mother's death and the curse, he decided to start anew in the town. After the curse lifted, the town gradually returned to its old peaceful days. Michael and Sarah helped rebuild the community. The townspeople saw them as heroes, and a monument was erected in honor of Michael's mother. Determined to preserve his mother's legacy and protect the town's secrets, Michael vowed to ensure such dark events would never happen again. Together with Sarah, they continued to share the town's history and the story of the curse with future generations.